Welcome to the Vision Profiles podcast. Join us, dedicated Apple Vision Pro users, as we dive into everything from hardware and software to apps and the latest updates in the world of Apple Vision Pro. I'm Marty, a faculty member at a Midwest university, a podcaster, and an Apple product fan.
And I'm Eric Bolden. I work in IT, but my interest is in finding interesting ways to share content, currently photography of plants, birds, and panoramic sequences.
And I am Dave Ginsburg. I am the host of the Untouched iOS podcast. I am passionate about technology, especially Apple, and use it in real-world experience as a 27-year veteran of an IT professional and iPhone subject matter expert. I learn new things about the Vision Pro every day.
Just a reminder for our listeners or viewers, you can follow the live stream on YouTube /@VisionProfiles. Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can join the chat room and add in some ideas, some questions, or just taunt us relentlessly. Just keep taunting us. Or if you miss all the fun, watch us later on YouTube or any audio podcatcher service that you have. Vision Pro Notes happens 3 mornings a week, Monday morning, Wednesday morning, and Friday morning. And those are short little bits, news items that we will get to in the next show of Vision Profiles. So listen for those. It's part of the stream, so they will come up with your Vision Profiles stream. So we encourage you to subscribe. Okay, so I paid off my bills, and then I paid off my Apple products, and I've got all my space clear for tomorrow's announcements on Apple products.
And I did the same, but I paid it off a few months ago.
Ooh. So what's it going to be, boys? What do you think you're going to do?
No, I get an iPhone every year. So I'm on the Apple upgrade program, been on it since inception. It's got to be 10 years now. And I will be getting the iPhone 17 Pro Max, no question.
Eric, what about you?
I'm going to totally resist. I'm not going to get anything. I'm not going to finally replace and update my watch so I can get a new watch band, because that's how you do that. And I'm happy with my phone, so I'm not going to touch anything there. And I'm sure that will last until maybe mid-October. And then I won't be able to take it anymore. And then I will have heard from everybody else, and then I'll order a Vision Pro.
You know, if they kind of throw us a crumb, bring it up. You mention that product. Just give us something.
I figure they only need to show us a new camera that has some sort of extra calculation to make the immersive video even better. That might be enough.
Oh, so this is what you can expect on the next version of whatever they're going to call it, Vision Pro 2 or Vision Pro Point,
Well, no, I figure if they come up with something on the phone that gives you better immersive videos, there's only one reason to do that. And that is because you're going to get a Vision Pro that has a faster processor and can handle bigger files. So I'm excited to hear about the camera tomorrow, but I'm not in a rush because I want to save space.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do because you just reminded me about new watches. Damn you, Eric.
I predicted that I was going to. There potentially could be an Apple Watch Pro that's going to have SOS satellite for the first time.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good prediction. I know we do that on the Mac show, and you contributed that as part of Keynote Poker. Your ideas for
I missed
Keynote
it.
Poker.
It's only an edition since I had to drop. So I want to make sure I mentioned it.
You get to win, but it won't be official because you missed it. Now, I think I don't want to get too deep into this, but I think what's going to happen with the watches is you're going to see, I really think they're going to add some new component to calculate trends in blood pressure. Not actual blood pressure, but trends in blood pressure. And that might be a new component in the watch, or it might be something that reconfigures the watch, because they got to do something new in the watch other than another chip. And it's a health item. It gets you a little bit closer. That's my watch thing. And I'm going to need something like that to convince me to get a new watch. There's got to be something that's a step up for the watch before I consider it.
I'm convinced only because I'm still sporting the Series 9. That's 2 years. That's generally what I've been doing on the Apple Watch trade-ins. I'm tempted to look at potentially the Ultra, but gosh, that $800 price tag just is a stinger.
Yeah,
not when I want to get the iPhone, which I'm just paying every month anyway, so it doesn't affect me. But even the potential is going to be AirPods Pro. I'm sideways. Do that.
Dave has been drinking too much.
Was that my fault?
I think it's your end. I didn't touch any of the settings.
Okay. Let me fix this, and I'll figure out what the hell happened. There we go.
So there you go. Wow.
I didn't have it on.
Yeah. I think I would like to see some mention. I don't think they'll give. I don't know. I like what Eric said about some new component that people can say, that's going to go into the next whatever it is. There's so much verbiage about how they're going to come out with something new before the end of the year. By new, it might be a processor bump. Most likely to be something like that. And maybe some aspects with the cameras that we don't know about yet. So who knows? I don't think there'll be a lot of news for Vision Pro tomorrow because it's a phone and watch event generally. So, but if they don't put that, so when would you do a Vision Pro 2 announcement if it was before the end of the year?
News release for sure.
News release, you think?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, Apple's done that before. Same thing. Macs. I think Macs might become a news release as well.
Yeah,
because it's just going to be a processor bump, so it's not going to be a huge announcement. So that they'll do it. But and we also thinking about any home products. Where's that going to go? And the Apple TV, where's that going to go? So again, this has always traditionally been an iPhone focused event. So I'd say iPhone Watch probably would be the highlights. I would think.
If it's any more than that, I'm selling my wife's car. So let's go ahead and get to the news, or some of the news we were able to find this week. It's you go through the news feeds and it's all iPhone this, iPhone that, some stuff on watch. They're really not paying attention to what's going on with Vision Pro, TV, Apple TV, those kinds of things have all dropped to the side. So we have to get through this bump until we know what we're getting tomorrow, and then we'll be flooded with articles about it. But so most of the articles are more kind of compendium articles. This first one, kind of interesting. It is Apple Vision Pro roadmap. I don't think that you haven't seen this in other places, that this information would not be unfamiliar to you. And the idea here is it claims there's a 3-step roadmap with a 2025 refresh that mainly swaps out the M5 class chip, or M4 if you believe in Ming Chi Kuo, a more meaningful Vision Pro 2 coming in 2026, and a lighter, cheaper Vision Air in 2027. This is really kind of a rumor roundup. It's not a leak in any sense. They're concerned about the frames and the price and the comfort of those, suggesting that maybe a sub $2,000 is the psychological line for the mass market. And, I think the angle here is they put together a bunch of the rumors and put it into a full narrative to explain what they think the Apple Vision roadmap is going to be. So anything surprising here, guys?
Not really. I mean, I just don't see an M5. I really don't. I mean, I can think M5 is too new that they would put it in the Vision Pro right away. Possibly an M4. I mean, that they would do that, but they may just do it as a speed bump, as a cursor to the current M2 it's on the market now. I mean, I mean, the Vision Pro as it is now is very good. I mean, performance wise, I think it's very good. But is it something that is it something that you justify an upgrade just for going from an M2 to an M4? I mean, maybe something like us might be, maybe because we love this Vision Pro so much. But I just don't know if Apple's ready to do it just yet.
Yeah, I'm the optimist, and I think I mentioned this on previous shows, Dave, that they've released the new chip in different devices, starting in one and not in the others. And it would just be kind of do its day to get the M5 in the next version of Vision Pro. And frankly, I think it has to have an M5 in it if it wants to capture a market that's not ready to upgrade. That just gives it a little extra beast. Eric, do you have anything on this?
Well, I guess my problem with it is I'm trying to figure out when you would release it. Because I was originally thinking they would do a big home theater-y thing, and we would get Apple TV, a Mini, and a Vision Pro, and then that's why it would be an M5. I think if something comes out soon and it's not tied to something like that, then maybe an M4. But I think it's a power management thing and a coolness thing. I think that M4 or M5, whatever they come up with, is going to be more power efficient, and maybe they can keep things cooler, or when they have to finish the processing faster. But we keep seeing stuff about kind of like corporate use of the Vision Pro, and I think that would justify a processor change, just to give just a little bit more stretch, because realistically, if they come up with this, it's going to be at least 2 more years before anything changes in it, other than maybe newer models or lighter ones. And this, if all you have to do is change the processor and you can extend the life and then maybe try out a new band to make it a little more comfortable, it still keeps your developer platform going until you're ready for everything else, and lets people work on the, producing content.
Yeah, which has always been kind of a problem with Vision Pro. The only thing I can think of is a early to mid Apple October release of some of this stuff, because you'd think they'd want to get it within a holiday cycle. I don't know. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, it's just really hard to say. I just don't see it being something that we're going to see that quickly. I mean, we know that we don't know, but it's speculative what the sales have been, because Apple doesn't share that. So I just don't know. It's really hard to say.
If all Apple releases before the end of the year is what we're going to see on Tuesday, which I think will be limited, it's going to be a very sad holiday in the Gensius household. Because usually I buy my own presents long before Christmas happens and tell them, don't give me anything. Don't give me anything. You don't want to know what I paid. Just don't give me anything. So let's go on to another. This is kind of a collection of rumors, a rumor cluster about Vision Air and a 2027 release of Vision Air. There have been a couple of articles, one in Road to VR. Apple Vision Air rumored for 2027, reportedly a 40% lighter and 50% cheaper than Vision Pro, roughly less than 400 grams and around $1,500 to $1,800. Core savings may come from reducing the premium parts, like no eyesight front display, so no googly eyes and uncanny valley sort of stuff. And this Ming-Chi Kuo pegs the shipments around 1 million units in 2027, mentions supply chain specific, like GIS for pancake lenses, and uses this is kind of the most citable version of the rumors. So we have a couple articles on that. This one by Road to VR. We also have one from TechSpot using damn near the same title as Road to VR does, but the content is a little bit different in terms of it kind of does echo the weight and price targets, notes the trade-offs like fewer cameras, potentially lower resolution than the Pro. And this is a good article for kind of a layman explanation of how Apple would make and hit the mark for it. So, and then lastly, we have an article. Nope, this is a different section. So just 2 articles in terms of the Vision Air 2027 rumor.
Far off. Gosh.
Yeah, as I'm reading the information from it and sharing the summary notes that I have on it, I'm like, how can they make these predictions 2 years away? And this is Ming Chi Kuo, based on supply chain. How do they predict 40% lighter and 50% cheaper?
I mean, they're already talking about the iPhone 18 and the iPhone 19 for crying out loud. I mean,
yeah,
whenever I see that, I ignore it. It just isn't worth talking about. I mean, that's just so far off.
Yeah, I mean, I did see the article out today that said something about forget about the iPhone 18. We're going to talk about the iPhone.
Oh, God.
So, yeah. And one of Dave's favorite sources, good old Tom's Guide.
Yeah. You know, they're just so pro Apple, right?
Yeah, I get that. They apparently someone talked to a former engineer of Apple. They spoke to John Gearty, calls out the controller-free hand-eye input as the biggest friction, that it's controller-free. And this is a former engineering project manager, John Gearty. And the issue is the fatigue and steeper learning curve that people expect. And that's a usability fix. So that's the thing that they say, or at least John Gearty and Tom's Guide says, needs to be fixed with the Apple Vision Pro. And the article presents the other challenges that need to be addressed, according to this engineer. High price, limited content, those are the other points that are of concerns. And so this is an interview with the engineer. That's the extent of the comment on it.
I mean, not much I can say about that one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so I guess wait and maybe adding some additional controllers of some sort, and apps and content are needed. And I mean, that's nothing really has changed.
Yeah, I want to thank the fact that they went directly to the source, a former Apple engineer, so he could be interviewed and he could point out the obvious, the stuff that people have been talking about in terms of improving for a while.
Now, I do have to say, because I continue to have people who have never used it before try out the Vision Pro. And I'm trying to find more people who have used other headsets and getting them to try the Vision Pro. And, screen resolution that's a big deal for people. And there is no issue whatsoever, starting in and figuring out how to do the controls and how to find stuff. And movie viewing is still high interest. I haven't figured out a good way to demonstrate the Mac Virtual Display. As soon as I figure that out, then I will be happy. Because that I think people would be really happy with. I just don't know how to demonstrate that other than sending people to the Apple Store. So I guess that's not a lot about this article, but then I didn't find a lot of use.
Yeah, it is a interesting. It's an interesting article, but it's just kind of a review of the stuff that we already knew, or we've been talking about for a long time. So let's take a look at another article. And I don't want to pass this up because I know Dave loves Tom's Guide.
I'm not that biased against it. It just
okay. So we're getting a new change. We're getting a new color change. That's the prediction, that space black would be welcome. I don't know.
Where is the color going to go besides the edges?
Are you guys a space black type person, or are you fine?
I like space black on my Mac. Yeah, I mean, I've got one in my work. My Mac is a space black. I like it.
Yeah, there is kind of and then there's this other article from 9 to 5 Mac. We'll also put that in. and they do a rendition of it.
Okay, so if they change the color on the pads as well and the band, and the battery, that seems a little drastic. Space black.
Yeah, that's
Space
what
black
I mean.
Almost looks like space gray a little bit.
So, and part of the thing they talk about in this is they want to do the change in color just so if I'm wearing one, you'll know I'm wearing the 2 version and not the 1 version. So, unless you decide to like get a magic marker and paint your 1 version, we had a story on a guy. We had a story on a guy that did that color change on his.
Yeah, I'm dyeing it.
So I want to do that for my $3,500 Vision Pro. Yeah.
No, you're not supposed to dunk the whole unit. No. Just to be clear, do not dunk the whole unit in dye. They took components apart and they did the strap and they did the light shield. And I'm not sure I would do the light shield, but yeah.
Especially you take it off and you like you got the big black rings around your eyes.
Yeah, do it in shoe polish.
Yeah, shoe polish. Exactly.
There's possibilities with that.
Okay, so this of course comes from a groomer because the reason this whole thing started was Mark Gurman's iPhone 17 event preview in a section dedicated to future Apple products still in the near-term pipeline. Gurman mentions that what would be a whole new look for Apple Vision Pro. Apple is posed to release the first hardware update to the Vision Pro, the controversial and slow-to-sell mixed reality headset. It's not a mixed reality. It's more than an MR headset, Mark. It launched in February 2024, but the update won't be much to write home about. Apple is swapping out a chip from an M2 to something newer. It's tested both the M4 and M5. It's also considered a space black version. The company is planning to roll out a far cheaper and lighter model as well and smart glasses over the next 2 years. So it all comes from a groomer.
That's right.
As all good things do. Vivo, when I say Vivo, what all do you think of?
Video.
Dave and I were talking, and Eric was part of it before the show, and Dave was like, where do you find these sites? And this site is Scarred Ghost. And
oh my gosh, you do find, I didn't even see this one. You do find this crazy stuff.
The website is The Ghost Howls, and I guess it's a blog of some sort.
It is.
And he does some consulting and some other things. But this guy apparently did go to China and he was last week in Beijing. I had the great opportunity to try the Vivo Vision Discovery Edition, mixed reality headset. So, we had a previous article where it was this teaser that said, I've tried, or it's been tried and it's great. And then the article turned out, and this article was done by everybody about it. It turned out to be a paragraph that somebody had sent an email to someone saying it, and then they turned it into a whole article. At least this guy's got pictures and evidence, and
specs.
he is trying it out, and specs.
Now, I do have to say, they talk about scanning the face while it's sitting on a pedestal. That's kind of a different change.
Yeah.
You buy an expensive pedestal instead of holding your arms out, but then you don't have to hold it up. So,
boy, it looks awfully like a Vision Pro. You look at it.
Oh, yeah, that's the whole thing,
Yeah, at least the front of it.
I watched my hands and then went through the eye calibration with the usual series of dots with 3 different brightness levels that Apple made popular. I remember when I got my Vision Pro, and within a week I was in space, and I stumbled into, I think they came and found me, a group of Chinese who were at a conference that specialized in AR VR, and somebody had a headset and an Apple Vision Pro headset. And what they did was they were having people come up to their booth and try it on. And then they were in space and trying to communicate with us in space. And in space had a text translator at the time, I think. And so it was just weird. It was like, where are you guys coming from? Where are you at? Well, we're at this conference and the best I could get. And they were just trying it out and showing it out. Well, apparently that one design got around because this Vivo looks, as Dave pointed out, exactly, like a Vision Pro. Okay, remind me to tell you a joke about this after we get off the show, because I don't want to say it at this point. But this article has specs in it and some information. So credit to the guy who put this together. You should take a look at it. It is titled Vivo Vision Hands-On, a good, cheaper clone of the Apple Vision Pro.
I noticed, though, that, he mentioned that he couldn't find any demos compelling enough to justify buying the headset or a use case good enough to justify spending the money. So that part, that the writing hasn't changed. They're copying that right from...
Yeah, that's what I said. I cloned all the problems with the Vision Pro. All right, we're going to move through what we have left here. I don't know, we've got 4 or 5 articles to take a look at, but some of them are all bundled together. And there are 3 of them that are about how Apple is creating a niche with the business community. And I lead off with the Wall Street Journal article, which really was, I think, the first article to come out and point it out. And then we have a couple of other articles that ran close to it. But the Wall Street Journal article talks about key issues, retail kitchen design with Lowe's, aviation training, and engineering design, Dassault Systems. The message is it's narrow but deep. ROI cases, enterprise first adoption, and, the talking point about it being a $3,500 plus weight as being an issue, but maybe not so much. And this was the article that I covered in Vision Pro Notes the day that it came out. Mac Observer also has an article, and that article pretty much covers some of the same stuff. It summarizes basically what's in the Wall Street Journal angle. That's collaborative. Allows you to do 3D review and training. Training makes the cost palatable. And then Mac Tech did a similar article. Apple Vision Pro does best in the enterprise market. Not as extensive as other ones, just making comments about, for example, the 2024 San Diego-based health group, Sharp Healthcare, announced the launch of Spatial Computing Center of Excellence and its pre-buys, innovation, and education center that'll focus on development efforts on utilizing the Apple Vision Pro augmented reality headset to enhance patient care. So some interesting things coming out just around enterprise traction and what we're getting with enterprise traction. Either comments from y'all?
Oh, I see definitely enterprise looking at things like this. Healthcare especially are continuing to look at this. It's just the investment. Return on the investment is going to be tough. I mean, it's a big major corporation that's looking at it. Well, no question. An engineering type company, no question. They're looking at it, but going to be a bit down the road before I think they're ready to adopt this to, having an engineer go out into a field and out to the field and use these products in real world situations. It's going to be probably more in-house, a few Vision Pros to be doing that type of research.
Yeah, I don't think this is a small business device. But you think of some of the large engineering companies, healthcare, large corporations, there are possibilities with training. There are some possibilities where the return on investment is maybe beneficial. But, a small under 50 employee business, probably not a reason to get one. Eric, you've done I don't want to say you've done enterprise work, but you certainly use yours in the workspace.
Yeah, although I think where you'll see this used is anywhere, either where whoever the person is using it has a high enough salary that the cost of the device just doesn't matter, or where bringing somebody in to demonstrate something involves flights and hotels and a bunch of other costs and time. And time's the big thing. You want to show a bunch of different people something. You're tying up an engineer, sales staff, whoever the customer is, maybe 2 or 3 different people, if you can either take it all to them and virtually show a demo, or if they come in, go through a whole pile of stuff in one spot and not have to travel between several different warehouses of demoing the equipment and with safety concerns and all that, or previewing a building that you're in the middle of. Yeah, so I think there are a bunch of cases where just the cost of doing the setup to show something to someone is far greater than the cost of the headset.
Yeah.
And the thing I'm curious about, and I haven't seen an answer yet, is how do you clean the headset? So if you want to use the headset around patients, for instance, normally all the gear and everything else has to be sterilized in between patients, and they're like little plastic covers and all kinds of other stuff you put over everything. And for the next one, you can strip it all off and put the new stuff on. Maybe it's far enough away, it doesn't matter, but I'm guessing cleaning wasn't one of the concerns or one of the thoughts about it. And the light shield, I guess you could sterilize that. Maybe you can put a glass drop-in lens barrier that could be swapped out. But there are holes for speakers and holes for all kinds of other stuff. I'd love to see how somebody gets that sterilized for use in a hospital or a clean room.
Yeah. And we have some reports. We've mentioned these stories of people using them in surgical procedures to help guidance and things like that. During COVID, Vision, the Meta 2 and Meta 3 came out, and I was responsible for teaching teachers how to use it, or at least demonstrate it to them. And I wound up buying a whole stack of these. They look almost like Zorro masks that you put on with the holes in the eye, and then you put the headset on top of that. And I don't know if it created a great barrier against a lot of spreading of disease or not. Primarily, it kept women's makeup off of my shield, because that was another issue. People who were wearing pancake or other types of makeup would rub off on the cloth shield or on the seat on it. So I think there's some things you can do so you're not getting direct skin to device types of connections with it. Let's go one place further. This one is for you, Eric. There's no miracles in this article, but I saw it and I thought, maximizing mobile productivity with the Apple Vision Pro and the MacBook Pro. And really, the killer app might be your Mac. Everybody's looking for a killer app with the Vision Pro.
Yeah.
And it might be your Mac in terms of doing it. And so I think that guy's a Padres fan, from what I can tell from his t-shirt.
Yep. That is Padres.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm a Windows guy. Oh, he's talking about moving over to Mac for productivity. And basically the thesis of this is the Mac Virtual Display plus the Vision Pro turns a small workspace into a multi-monitor portability. Pairing also sidesteps on-head compute limits and reduces the dongle sprawl that goes with it or can go with stuff. Eric, I'm going to turn to you for any comments that you have, because you do this or have done this.
And hands down, the only thing I would add is like AirPods, so you get the rest of the sound. I mean, the sound is good. The AirPods, it adds an extra element with noise cancellation, so you could use it in a noisy environment. And pairing with a Mac is great. In fact, I pair with 2 or 3 different Macs. Each one is optimized for a different activity, which is also great because I don't have to change anything on the Vision Pro. I just say, oh, let me talk to this Mac instead of this other one. And all of a sudden I'm doing, web development instead of, corporate upgrades of hardware and software. And kind of neat. I'm still kind of up in the air if you've got a keyboard and a trackpad, what you pair it to. Because I found that the trackpad, or at least the trackpad I'm using, I had to be closer to the Mac than I was. So that was an issue. So I might try a newer version of the trackpad and see if that fixes it. A mouse worked just fine. Keyboard worked just fine. And Yeah, it's great. I mean, I can sit in a car and feel like I'm at my desk. I can sit in a coffee shop and not only do I not get weird looks anymore, but I can actually be fairly productive. And you can twist the dial on top to either make yourself more immersive or less immersive so you don't have distractions. And you can go like part ways so you can still see somebody come up to talk to you, but the area right behind your screen, is a relaxing beach scene or nice cool mountain view that doesn't make you overheat with the outside temperatures being high. So it's great. It also works really well. You bring up that Mac screen, you bring up a couple other windows, you can have separate Safari screen or a window that has documentation or something on it separate from the Mac thing. And taking screenshots works really well. You can sort of isolate different parts. It's pretty much the perfect setup. It just works and works well. And short of carrying around two displays all the time to connect up to whatever machine I'm using, I wouldn't want to carry around a studio display everywhere that's kind of heavy, and I don't think I would drop it or lose it. So this gives me the benefits of that with the portability. It's light, no complaints, and I would do it again with an upgrade.
Okay. So you're waiting for the upgrade.
Well, I'm using it now. When an upgrade comes out, I will upgrade.
Okay. We got a few quickies, I think, and some things that y'all put into the show notes that we will get to. But this one is Wisp delivers a Minority Report memory replay on Apple Vision Pro and also on the Quest. And talks about how you capture stuff on your iPhone Pro and then you relive it as volumetric memories on the Vision Pro or the Quest. And it's a very shareable kind of demo to be able to do it. Head-on looks impressive, detail drops with kind of steep angles if you're moving it from head-on to different angles. But it's supposed to be this Minority Report type experience. If you think of the movie Minority Report and Tom Cruise looking at, and they even show the video in there, Tom Cruise looking at his little son. What, did the kid die in that movie or died before the movie? I can't remember Minority Report. It's been so long since I've seen it. So that's something new. The idea that you'll be able to use Wisp kind of to create this. It's currently in a private beta, but this pipeline also enhances captures over time. So you can pull stuff from cloud processing, and it probably has a good future use in that. Any of that looks interesting to you folks?
A couple of warnings on it. So if you capture data on one section of the room and then a little bit later you capture your cats on a different wall or whatever, it will combine from multiple images or if multiple sessions to help it fill in the blanks, which means it's hanging on to data and keeping track of it. And the privacy policy is not yet finalized. So if you're sensitive about where your data is being kept, it's not released yet. So that's just something to look at. It's kind of nice it can fill in the blanks. It sounds like it doesn't really get rid of like shadows by filling in data about what the wall would look like without the shadow. So people are finding it interesting. There's some discussion over whether or not the camera resolution is high enough to give enough detail, or if the lenses on the phone camera are too close together. It really depends on how close you are to the subject, I guess. So I find it interesting. The privacy policy is something to keep an eye on. That's all.
Okay.
But definitely worth looking at when it becomes available.
Okay, so I've got to ask both of you. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. Here's a story that I thought was interesting, and this came from applemust.com. And the question is, would you join a Vision Pro movie night at your local Apple store? And I think the idea here is that it would be good if Apple kind of put together regular Vision Pro movie nights in their stores. So we could sit together and and do a FaceTime sitting in a cinema together watching a film, and it would give you an opportunity to evangelize tomorrow's tech. I don't know if this, no.
I just don't see this even being something Apple would even consider. I mean,
Now, I could see maybe hosting something where if you've got a Vision Pro, you could connect into an existing session, like maybe a training or tutorial session or something, but not for watching a movie. A shared scene showing off like engine or a motor or parts or something like that, maybe, but that's more like a corporate visit than what I'd want to do myself personally. If they hosted something, I would join it, but I wouldn't want to drive into a store to go see it.
Yeah. Dave, you have some ideas or comments?
I don't think this is something Apple would even consider. I mean, they rarely would do something like that. I mean, when you go to the stores, yeah, they have the 30-minute sessions for, with training and showing, today at Apple, doing those things. But I just don't see, if you're talking about 2-hour long movies, that's a bit long to have a lot of people like that hanging around the store for that long of a period of time. I know they want people to be in the stores and, get people to buy things. The Vision Pro demo got a little longer once they updated it, and I think you're at about 30 minutes now instead of 20 minutes before, and you get to see the initial videos. But in my opinion, I just don't see it as something that Apple would even consider.
Well, there's a privacy thing too, right?
Oh yeah, and then the rights to the movie and all that.
And they don't want people watching people trying out the Vision Pro. If you go in to try out the Vision Pro, that's your demo in your space. And you're not there to be viewed by everybody else in the store. It's there so that you can experience it, and setting it up as a gawking event is not the goal.
Right. The one-on-one session, that's what you're having. The one-on-one sessions going on. I mean, I did at least one demo, and there's people going to watch you. I mean, I've watched people when they do their demos, but I'm not sitting there hounding them and what'd you think? I mean, I might ask afterwards, but not during the session. That's the whole intent of what Apple wanted to get you to get the experience. Yeah.
So let me play devil's advocate here. I agree. Apple doesn't have time or space within their stores to do this.
Right.
But I think, and I guess this guy's Johnny Evans, watching Apple since 1999, I don't say what they should do. I say what they might do. They sometimes do. Using a Vision Pro is a solitary experience. I get this. Have either of you been connected with other people with Vision Pros and sat in a cinema and watched a movie together? Absolutely wild experience. Very connecting.
Are you talking virtually or physically everybody in a cinema watching?
No, virtually. You're using FaceTime to connect everybody to...
Oh, you're using SharePlay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is just an incredible experience. And you're sitting in a black theater, darkened theater, and you're sitting in a row of chairs, and you can look over to the right and you see the person who is not in your room. I mean, not physically in your space, but you've connected through a connection, and you're all, and you can get up to 5 people in that connection, and you're all in the room together doing that. It takes the solitary experience away. And the one time I did it, I was just totally blown away. Met people, we're watching the film, we're having conversations about it. We're also having conversations about where you're from, what's going on. There was a social aspect to it. And we met up, and it was something somebody set up in space. And then once you were in space, you kind of got your 5 people together and somebody established it, and you went away and did that. I get why this guy wants to do this, because it's essentially a singular experience that there are possibilities for doing this, and from a social aspect. So I don't think Apple will sponsor it, but I think, man, you could do meetups. I mean, if there's some way you could do like local meetups and people could show up in one space and do that and not get robbed, I think it would be very cool.
I almost want to see somebody try to do an Apple Vision Pro user group where you could attend virtually. Now, some of the new stuff coming out where you can have shared objects, there's a lot of possibilities with that. And that I could see going to a store to experience.
Yeah.
So simply because I don't have multiple Apple Vision Pros sitting in my house.
Yeah, that's my point. Being able to experience it that way. Okay, I want to jump to this Porsche article that you put in, or at least it wasn't an article, it was really a promo that they're doing. And apparently, where is this? What's the time stamp on this one? Sometime around 7:15 in the movie.
Yeah.
It's a promo for it. And we are at 7:06.
Yeah, it's a little further, like 7:15, 7:20, somewhere in there.
There it is, right there.
But that's a
Hofstetter.
Yeah.
I don't know if
you can go a little bit further.
Can you hear the audio on this, guys?
No. But this way you don't have to translate from the German. See, shared object. So everybody with the Vision Pro gets to see the same object. And then one person can kind of control the model and explain it and move it around, and everybody else can walk around it and see it and discuss it. You know, I would have loved to see some printer maintenance demos done like this.
I would love to see somebody stick their real hand into the virtual engine and it just becoming in the turbine and it just becoming pulling it out and it's a bloody stump.
No. That's when they start doing horror films, and that's when I stop using my Vision Pro. We do not need that.
Yeah, we will have the link to this YouTube channel in YouTube movie. And again, it starts around 7:05. It's a 16-minute film that they have that's being used for promotion of world premiere of the new 911 top model of Porsche.
Yeah.
I just put the link at that exact point, so you can use that link.
Okay. But you don't want our audience to watch all this other stuff on the car?
The intent was to watch the Vision Pro portion of it.
Yeah. So now I would love to see, people do this type of session. I would like to see a session on a nuclear power reactor where you could walk in and see all the parts and components and see the fuel rods and see all the parts that they leave off of the tours now because it's too dangerous. That would be really cool. So there are many possibilities.
I don't know which of you guys dropped this in, but we'll go to this article, which is 2 articles, Vision trade-in values.
That was me.
Do you have opinions? And I just put mine in. I have a 512, and I'd say it's in good condition, not in mint condition. And they're going to give me $1,300 for it.
I just almost threw up when I saw that. No way.
Yeah, I've had mine. It'd be interesting to see if Apple does a trade-in, what I get for it.
Right.
That doesn't shock me. That really doesn't shock me. And this other one, pay more.
It's not horrible.
Is this one they're trying to sell? They're selling for $2,000.
Yeah, the one I put in there, $22,000. Yeah, you could buy it for that right now.
Okay, so they're going to buy it from me for $1,300 and then sell it on Pay More for $2,400 or $2,000. That's interesting.
No, my intent with this was just what your guys' opinion was. The fact of what do you think the values are going to be? I mean, I'd be curious to see where it goes. It's going to. I could probably see it'll drop about $1,000. That's probably fair. I mean, just like when you have a Mac for a year, it's going to depreciate in value. But, Apple products tend to hold their values pretty well. I mean, we're trading in Macs that, this M1 Pro I have right now, I probably could say it'd still get close to $1,000. When I bought it new, I paid $3,500 for it. So I can see that, but this is also 4 years old. So we're talking about a little year and a half at this point to where it's at. So I just was curious to see. There was no specific articles about it. Those were just trading places, and they all vary. I know that, but I'd like to see. Yeah, I agree with you. I'd like to see what Apple would give if they are going to do trade-ins. I would assume they will.
Yeah, and I do. Yeah, go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, I've been seeing prices. Somewhere in the 1/3 to 2/3 of the original cost range. I suspect if a new Vision Pro comes out, you'd be closer to the 1/3 original price.
Yeah.
But really, they've held their prices pretty well, and the used prices have been pretty consistent. Aside from the outlandish ones early on. So I got one new, I got one used, and I was happy in both cases.
Yeah, I just looked at eBay, and yeah, there's a new one you can buy right now for $1,900. It's a 256.
Yeah. So,
yeah, boy, it really dropped in price. That's for sure.
but not like a stone. Like, you're not seeing anything for $500.
Oh no. Like there's one here for $3,200, but that's also the one with 1 terabyte of storage on it.
When I have sold things, when I've sold things back to Apple, and even in store, I'm not exactly excited about what I get for the product. And you guys know I change products over every year, and it's sort of like, don't you think it would be worth a little more than that? So, but then I go on some of these online sites,
worse,
and it might be $50 more they can say they can offer, but then you have a lot of trouble in getting it. I've had a few cases where I put some things into the online. They say, yeah, this is what you can get for it. And then they found something that I think doesn't drop the price, doesn't drop the refund $100. So it seems like a bit of a game with them. Let us find something so we can, now that we have your product and we can ship it back to you at your cost, that we can let you know this is why we're going to give you less money for it. So,
and you knew it's been the game for trade-ins for a long time. I mean, I think it's much easier to deal with Apple at this point. I mean, going back over the years with iPhones, I would do Craigslist and all these other crazy things I try to get more money on. And it just doesn't even worth it anymore. Same thing with that, trying to sell things on eBay. I used to do that all the time, selling things on eBay, and I'm tired of it. I mean, I'm trying to clean up my office here and do my podcast studio construction here. And I start looking at this stuff like, I don't want to deal with selling this stuff. It's just going to take forever, and I just don't have the interest anymore. So I have a family member that's going to be interested in selling it. Good, you do it. I'll give you a little money.
Yeah.
I mean, I just
get a portion.
I mean, whatever. I don't care. It's been sitting in my closet for, I got 2 sets of routers that have been sitting in my closet for 2 years, probably 3 years. What am I going to do with them? They're old.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but the same thing with the same thing with Apple products. When I trade in a Mac, I mean, I remember I bought an M2 MacBook Air, and then the next year I got an M3, and I got a price on it. I think I got the basic model. It was $1,000 or something like that, and then I got back $699 the next year. So I was happy with that, and then just I upgraded it. So things like that, I think Apple just makes it easier because you're just doing a quick trade in, and then boom, goes great towards it. I did the same thing with the Mac Minis I bought. I had a M1 2020 model. They gave me $250 for it. I was fine with that. I mean, I didn't pay a lot of money for it. It was a base model.
Yep.
Well, last article of the night, actually, this is kind of our app thing.
Yep.
Step into the world of Jeopardy on Vision Pro with the new Apple Arcade game. Can either of you guys explain this arrangement better than I can?
I saw this game come out. I haven't had a chance to look at it and play it. Did you actually play it?
Yeah. So, I mean, you start up the game. It drops you into the room as if you're in the game. You have an audience. It's a cardboard cutout audience, but it still is the audience. And then you get the choice of having questions with multiple choice answers or questions where you have to type it. I had no brain power for typing anything out. So I picked multiple choice. So did a category, got the questions, could select the answers, went through the line, made it all the way to the bottom of one category, called it a win. And, so it did what it needed to do. It was kind of fun. You get the right ambiance environment. Not sure if I'll play it a lot, but, if I need to kill some time, it was entertaining.
Yeah, so I'll check it out. What was the cost on it?
It's an Apple Arcade. So
it's arcade. That's right.
If you have Apple One, then you can.
Yeah, I'm solid.
Yeah, it looks pretty impressive. The article talks about it in terms of, as Eric had said, that if you have an Apple Vision Pro, the game really comes to life. You can play the game inside a virtual environment of the Jeopardy set, positioned as if you were a real contestant.
Yep.
So it looks pretty cool. Looks pretty cool. And I'll tell you, I have a Switch 1. I had a student convince me, oh, you need to get a Switch 1. And I guess I got, our Animal Farm or something, and found it kind of okay. I don't know why everybody got addicted to it. And then, I tried Star Wars, the Skywalker saga. And then somebody said, oh, you need to really do the Legend of Zelda.
Wow.
And I did that. It was okay. Kind of got stuck. My thumbs got sore, jumping up walls and hopping around.
Oh, the good old days of Nintendo 8-bit.
Jeopardy, I kick butt with Jeopardy on the Switch too.
Because you're good at that stuff.
I guess so. I don't know. For me, I don't want to say that's the cost of the device, because the device costs too much. But at least I found a purpose for the device. I can sit here and play Jeopardy with it. And so I'm anxious to try out this new Jeopardy app in Arcade and in Apple Vision Pro. So
at least you didn't upgrade to the Switch 2.
I did.
Oh, you did? Oh, you still had the Switch 1. Oh, okay. You stopped saying Switch 1.
There's the Switch 1.
You have them both. Why did I even question that? I don't even know.
There's a Switch 2. And frankly, the Switch
has it all. I thought I was.
It's too big. It's like, get the bigger screen. Well, now it feels like I'm carrying around a laptop or a monitor. It's a little too big. I should have stayed with the one. Anyway, let's not go there. Remember, there's always more things to spend money on starting tomorrow. So MacStock, the digital pass is out. We have a link in the show for the digital pass if you want to go see and pay for the pass and see a bunch of great talks that were presented. Dave did a wonderful job on his. I did one or two of them, and then just other great professionals talking about how to use your Mac and Apple device
and other things
and applications that will help you with that. So the digital pass, you can find it at macstockconference.com, and there's a direct link in the show notes on how to be able to get the digital pass. Vision Pro Notes, as I mentioned, comes out Monday mornings, Wednesday mornings, and Friday mornings. And it's the shorts that'll carry you to our next episode, which will be a week from today, Monday, September 15th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And we'll be streaming live on youtube.com/@visionprofiles. That's our channel. Thanks to everybody in the chat room. We had a good-sized group of people in the chat room. Many of them were very quiet, but we had Cletus and 5 or 6 other folks in the chat room at times. So you can join us again with the live stream on Monday nights as we record. Where can we find you, Dave Ginsburg?
Well, you find me here on Mondays. So always a pleasure being with you guys. This is such a blast. Tuesdays, actually this week, Tuesdays, I'm going to be on For Mac Eyes Only. We do a reaction time episode to the announcements. So that's on YouTube. Check that out. We will have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun doing that each time there's an Apple event. Tuesday nights, I'll be on Mac Voices Live. We'll be recapping the event this week. So that'll be fun. And then, of course, In Touch with iOS records on Thursday nights, 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Pacific, on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/InTouchWithIOS, as long as my website, InTouchWithIOS.com. And then Fridays, most times I'm on the Mac Show on the British Tech Network. We'll be reviewing our bingo. So we got a lot of stuff. This is going to be a busy week of podcasts.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Busy and fun week.
And fun. A lot of fun, yeah.
And, we'll be placing our orders before the next
Friday morning.
Next show. Yeah.
More than likely.
Yep. Friday morning, we'll be talking about how much money we're under.
I set my alarm, usually 7 a.m. Central Time, to make sure I get the order in right away for the iPhone. And then social media, I'm on Blue Sky, Mastodon most of the time at DaveG65. Thanks again, Marty, and having me out here.
Thanks for being here, Dave. Eric.
I can be found on Mastodon at EA Bolden at mas.to. Otherwise, what is today? Monday? Monday's here. And, it's one of those days.
VP.
Vision profile. Tuesdays on Mac Voices,
MV.
covering Mac OS stuff, and Thursdays on In Touch with iOS, so we can cover everything else. So my week-long progression through all of the OSs and hopefully all new ones continues.
So, Eric, you have a Mastodon or a Blue Sky handle people can look at?
Oh, yeah. You need that too.
Yeah. Oh, that was that at EA Bolden at mas.to.
Okay, great.
And at EA Bolden on Blue Sky as well.
You can find me at Gencius, Jencius, at mastodon.social or at Blue Sky. And then again here, Vision Pros every Monday night, Vision Profiles every Monday night, and Mac Voices on Tuesdays, Thursdays with Dave on In Touch with iOS, and Eric. In fact, you're on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So we spend a lot of time
together all week.
Yeah. And a bunch of other projects I'm involved in, you can find at the website podtalk.net. And that'll connect you with this show and other shows that I'm putting together. You can always email us at the podtalknetwork@gmail.com. Our bumper music is Free Jazzy by Steve Combs, courtesy of the Free Music Archive. Learn more about Vision Profiles, podcast, other stuff, as I mentioned, at thepodtalk.net. Spread the word to other visionaries. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.